I know it's been quite some time, but we are finally back with another edition of Buy Now Before Rare with the Nintendo Switch, and I want to lay out a couple ground rules for those that are new to the series, and of course just to give you guys a refresher for those who have seen some of the previous videos that I've done on this. Another thing to note is that for this video, it's going to be all, for the most part, ESRB or US rated games. For some reason, those are just worth more, and that's the region that I'm in, so we're going to be sticking with that. But some of these games can apply, which I will talk about that, but some of them can apply to worldwide copies as well. And I will be giving you guys estimates or around what you can get the game for when it comes to new or potentially even used as well. Now, some of these games I've already went over in previous videos that I've done, so it's a little bit more of an update because I've noticed something a little bit different or new. But with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump right into it, and we're going to start off with Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. I always like to highlight some of the classic games brought back to newer systems, and Luigi's Mansion is a game that's staying right around that $45 price range. I think it's going to be a game that's going to be in short supply later down the line just because Nintendo isn't going to make a ton of them, and I feel that because it is a classic game being brought back at more of the end of the Nintendo Switch life, it's definitely something to look out for and monitor the price just to see how things are going. One more thing that I'd like to add is that, remember, this doesn't necessarily mean all these games are going to be rare in the future. I'm just saying essentially that they could be, or they could end up, based off of some trends that I've seen with previous games and how those become rare from past gens and even with the Nintendo Switch gen. All right, now let's move on to the next game here, and that is Suikoden I and II HD Remaster for $50 or so. And very much like Luigi's Mansion 2, classic games on cartridge, all complete for the most part, that you can pop into your Nintendo Switch and play, are going to be valuable just because it's a classic game to where you don't have to download it and you can play it right then and there. We've seen countless numbers of classic games when it comes to something like this become rare in the future because of the nature of the game and because of the legendary status of the Suikoden games, how hard it is to play it on previous systems because they haven't been re-releasing the games over and over. So that does breed a sense of, I would say, rarity to the game. And if you can have it all on cartridge right there, it's definitely something to look out for. It's new as of the time that I'm recording this video, but you might want to look out for it when it comes to price drops or the first round of price drops later in the year if you're not buying it now, because I do feel that a game like Suikoden, depending on how it does, could become incredibly rare or not, and you can't trust Konami. I can say that right now. You cannot trust Konami to continuously supply a game like this, especially if things go south with the sales. So Suikoden I and II HD Remaster, look out for that one. All right, next up, it's going to be something that I know nothing about because I was never into this, and that is the Yu-Gi-Oh! Early Days Collection. But I did some research on this, and this is 16 classic games from the GB, Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, and Game Boy Color. I should say more like Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance. And some of these games were previously only released in Japan, and that is the big key here, guys, when it comes to buy now before rare. Games that were only released in Japan finally getting a American or Western release, localized or whatever the case is, and having 16 different games. This is absolutely going to be something that'll go the way of the dodo in the future. I'm pretty confident that the Yu-Gi-Oh! Early Days Collection in the future, once all these physical games are done for the most part, there's not going to be a ton of these cartridges laying around. So if you're a Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan or if you're a collector, I would highly recommend checking this out. It's $50 right now, but later in the year, we could get some discounts and all that. But these are the type of games that absolutely end up becoming the buy now before rare, where you get all the different classic games all on one cartridge right there. No need to emulate or nothing, portable anywhere that you want. This is something that you're definitely going to look out for, or that you want to look out for when it comes to buy now before rare. But another thing to look out for is those who are not subscribed to the channel, making sure that you do subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying the content right now. So please hit that sub button, hit that like button, and click that notification bell to get my vids as soon as they drop. Now let's go ahead and jump into the fourth game that we're going to be talking about here, and it's an update, and that is Triangle Strategy for about $55. And the reason why I'm bullish on Triangle Strategy is because it seems like the sequel was canceled. Now, once again, it's a rumor. When it comes down to it, there isn't any solid information on that. But with the reorganization and reshuffling of Square Enix about a year ago or so, it seems like some games got canceled, and a game like Triangle Strategy might have been one of those. Now, there was a PC release, but obviously no physical with that. If you're looking at the price, Triangle Strategy is going on 3 years old at this point. Yeah, it's right around 3 years old, and the fact that it's not reducing in price definitely tells me that Triangle Strategy is becoming a bit more, I would say, rare with the cartridges. It's not just simple to find a brand new copy of Triangle Strategies all throughout stores if you just want one. Not every store has it, so that tells me that there is, or they did probably have a drastic cutback on the production of the physical carts for this game, especially with that price overall. So Triangle Strategy is a game to look out for. If you already have it, or if you have a special edition of the game, hold on to that one, because the special edition only came out, I think, in Europe. So I have like a weird like German one or something like that. I forgot exactly. I know mine's kind of weird in terms of the special edition because they didn't have an official one here in the US. So if you have that one, hold on to it. But if you have a regular copy, hold on to that. Or if you can find one, definitely pick up Triangle Strategy. Plus, it's a great game too if you want to play it. All right, next game up on the list is Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. This is a game that I've covered before as well. And I think heading into the Nintendo Switch 2 era, this type of game absolutely could be something that, yes, there's a lot of copies out there. Nintendo sold a lot, but Bowser's Fury is only playable on this cartridge, or if you have the download. But obviously we're talking about physical games here, so if you want a physical version of Bowser's Fury, the only way to play it is through this cartridge. That's the only way. They did not release it separately on the eShop when it comes to just playing Bowser's Fury. So I do feel that in the future, this would be something to look out for, considering what Bowser's Fury is and what Nintendo's done with some of the Mario games in the past, like Super Mario 3D All-Stars, which we did cover as well in terms of buy now before rare, which I think maybe we need a little bit of an update on that game too, as prices kind of skyrocket. But yeah, definitely something like Bowser's Fury, because of how this game is constructed and how Nintendo didn't split up the Bowser's Fury part on the eShop, I absolutely would say look out. If you have Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, hold on to it. I do think in the future there could be a price jump with that one. All right, next up is Collection of Mana, and I've talked about this game as well, but it's kind of hovering right around the $40 price range. I do think that because of the failure of Visions of Mana, we don't know what the future of the franchise is. We don't know if they're going to continue producing the carts. We don't know what's happening. Mana could take a huge break again based off of things. We don't know. There was a long time where there was no Mana games or nothing new, and the prices kind of spiked on a lot of the different Mana cartridges and games out there. This could happen once again with Collection of Mana. So if you have a Nintendo Switch, I highly recommend picking that collection up. You get 3 awesome games, and the only real physical cartridge of these 3 games is the Nintendo Switch version, and it's all complete right there for the most part. So Collection of Mana, definitely check it out if you haven't got a cart already. I know that there were some deals for like 20 bucks beforehand, and that's what kind of prompted me to talk about this game again, because there's not those same deals. They're starting to steadily rise up in terms of that. But Collection of Mana for many years could be purchased for $25 to $20, but now the prices are going up on that. So if you see a good deal on it, check it out. If you see it used, check it out as well. So next up is Super Mario RPG at $40 or so. Some places have it a little bit higher, but just like a lot of these other games, Super Mario RPG classic Super Nintendo game, but playable start to finish, no problem, without downloading anything. And the one thing about this game, when it comes down to it, because there is some Square Enix licensing in there with Nintendo's, we don't know how the sales are going to continue and what they're going to do with the physical cart production because of the Nintendo Switch 2 and because of the game probably dropping off on sales after the initial rush of hardcore Super Nintendo fans or people that just want to try the game out purchased it. So we haven't gotten any updates on that. And what I'm thinking is going from Nintendo Switch 1 to Nintendo Switch 2, a lot of the games that don't have the normal performance of sales, like the big Mario and Zelda games and all of that, will absolutely get reductions in terms of cartridges. So we will see it less and less, and it's going to hover right around that price of almost MSRP. Now I'm highlighting it because it's pretty good right now when it comes to the price. So you might want to check it out now just so you're not burnt later on it when it comes down to it, because it could end up up being a game that's like $70-$80 plus or so in the future because they just didn't make any more, and it's a classic Super Nintendo RPG remade. So the next game that we're going to talk about is actually more than just a game. It's a bundle, and I want to let you guys know you definitely want to check this out. It's the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom bundle. It's going for about $418 right now, so not too much over what the MSRP for this bundle was, but I do think that anytime that Nintendo does special branded Zelda bundles, I've talked about this before. You can even talk about the Nintendo Switch Lite, the Zelda Nintendo Switch Lite, the gold one. It's always good to pick up Zelda bundles. Those usually end up having crazy resale or crazy value jumps over the years. Any special edition system obviously is a opportunity to see the value go up, but I think that for sure Zelda systems definitely have that opportunity, especially considering how, like, I would say different the Zelda bundle looks overall. So if you can find the Tears of the Kingdom bundle, or if you already have it, the price is starting to steadily climb on that Tears of the Kingdom bundle as we head to the Nintendo Switch 2, and I'd expect it to become a rare system 3, 4, 5 years from now, because Nintendo isn't going to produce that, or probably stopped already producing those bundles. All right, the next game up, I'm actually excited to give you guys an update on, because we hit on it before. When it came out, I was saying, hey, Ninja Gaiden, the Master Collection, you guys got to check this game out. It's PlayAsia/harder to get. It wasn't normally sold everywhere, but you need to check this game out because it's going to go up in price, and that is what is happening. It's starting to fluctuate wildly between used copies and brand new copies, as low as $40 to $50 for a used copy online, all the way up to $130 for a brand new sealed copy of the game. So I want to go ahead and give you guys an update on this. If you have it, hold on to it. If it's sealed, keep it sealed. If you want to get in on it potentially growing in the future when it comes to the rareness of the game, I'd absolutely see if you can get a decently priced copy for $50 to $60, especially if it's brand new. They're still being sold. Once again, it's wildly swinging between various different prices based on where you are in the world and based on where you're buying from. But yeah, this game is already becoming more rare. Amazon, it's going for $90 plus or so, depending on what sale you're going through. And like I said, brand new, it's as high as $130. Might be a little bit of overpay right now, but it is going up in price. There are not a lot of cartridges of this, and I'm pretty sure Koei Tecmo isn't going to continue printing the cartridges here. Now, we could get some reprints because of the new Ninja Gaiden game, Ninja Gaiden 4, that's coming out later in the year, but Microsoft has a publishing deal with that, and they're more into digital, so I'm not sure if Microsoft's even going to care, or if Koei Tecmo is going to care to print more cartridges, and probably going to shift more people over just to buying the game digital if you want the first number of Ninja Gaiden games in terms of the reboot of the Ninja Gaiden series, not the original Ninja Gaiden games. But yeah, definitely going up. Very happy to give you guys this update, and if you picked it up, hold on to it. I got myself a sealed copy, so I'm pretty happy with that. But yeah, Ninja Gaiden Master Collection, definitely check it out if you can. All right, last up on this Buy Now Before Rare is Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, and I'm mentioning this because Ubisoft is doing what I think could happen for many of these games, but actually letting us know about it, and that's starting to actually phase out the real physical versions with download codes in the box. Now, I don't think Nintendo's going to do download codes in the box, but essentially say, hey, if you want a copy, it's going to be digital. We're only going to do digital. So they've already started to replace physical copies with a code in the box, and it says, hey, download code, that nasty little banner. And Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown is only about $20 at most places. You can find it right around that price. So if I were you, I would definitely go check that out. Now, this game didn't sell as high as Ubisoft would have liked. I mean, it did ultimately do over 1 million units, which is good with all the different systems that it was on. It was on everything overall and PC. They felt that it wasn't necessarily good enough, but I do think that the physical cartridge production on this was pretty tiny. It probably sold best on the Nintendo Switch, or Switch was one of the better sellers, but I'm guessing there was a portion of those that were digital. So how many actual physical cartridges that we have of Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown is unknown, and they're already starting to phase out the real physical cartridges for this. So that was definitely a red flag for me overall, and that put up my alarm to say, okay, I should probably talk about Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown again, because yeah, they are starting to replace it, and there are starting to be fake physical versions with the download codes in the box, and letting you know at the top of there, that ugly box art. So yeah, just look out for that, guys. I already have my physical copy. I have it on PlayStation 5 and I have it on the Nintendo Switch. But those are the 10 games that I went over for the buy now before rare. What do you guys think? Any other games that you want me to look into? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch RPG videos and more buy now before rare right here on screen. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.